This is a duly advertised meeting of the Joliet Zoning Board of Appeals. In our capacity, we hear petitions for relief from the strict provisions of our city ordinance. In matters of this type, the decision of the board is final, in respect that it does not go to the mayor or the city council for any further action. If you disagree with our decision, you have recourse in the court of record. We also hear petitions for variations of land use. In matters of this type, we act as an advisory committee to the mayor and city council, making a recommendation either for or against it. The final decision of land use is made by the mayor and the city council. Secretary, please call the roll.
Ms. Darley? Here. Mr. Ferguson?
Here.
Mr. Graham?
Here.
Ms. Nevadas? Ms. Powers? Mr. Riggs?
Here.
Mr. Hennessy?
Here. I see we have quite a few people here for whatever issues we have. We don't have that big of an agenda, but we do have a plan commission meeting immediately after this meeting at 4 o'clock. So I'm going to ask anyone who addresses the board to be as concise as you can in making your deliveries. Any requests to digress from the agenda?
No requests. We'll take the agenda as printed.
Okay, let's hear petition 2014-14. All right.
Petition number 2014-14. The applicant is Michael Vlamis, who is also the owner. Location is 101 North Reed Street. The request is for a special use permit to allow a U-Haul truck and trailer rental business with outside storage for up to 3 trucks or trailers at the existing business. The petitioner is requesting a special use permit to allow a U-Haul truck and trailer rental business with outside storage for up to 3 trucks or trailers at the business known as Willie World. The property is located at 101 North Reed Street, which is located on the west side of Reed Street, just north of Jefferson, north of the Walgreens at the corner of Jefferson and Reed. In July of 1985, the board approved a conditional use permit to allow an electronic message sign at this site. The property consists of a 1-story, 19,000 square foot plus brick commercial structure built on a slab back in 1967. The structure was formerly a Jewel grocery store and Josco office supply business. The Willie World business faces north on a 150-foot by 290-foot wide lot, which is bounded by a paved parking in front, as well as on the west side of the structure. The proposed U-Haul storage space is located at the west side of the lot. The storage area is 40 feet wide by 55 feet deep. The site is Zone B1, which is neighborhood business zoning. Under surrounding zoning, land use, and character, the land use and zoning to the north is commercial service, which is an adult daycare facility. Zone B1. To the south is commercial use, Zone B3, which is general business zoning. And to the east and west is single-family residential, zoned R2, which is our single-family residential zoning. Applicable regulations are as noted. The Community Design Review Board met in early May. There were no comments regarding this particular request at that meeting. The site is the former location of a major grocery store and office supply business. The petitioner currently operates a motorcycle sales and U-Haul rental business in the existing structure. The efficient operation of the U-Haul rental business necessitates a defined outdoor parking area for U-Haul trucks and trailers. The outdoor storage area for trucks and trailers will be accessed via a gate facing north. Maximum number of U-Haul rental trucks and trailers will be 3. They will be kept inside the outside storage area. Adequate off-street paved parking is available on site. If the zoning board desires to recommend approval of the special use permit, the following conditions will be included. That the number of U-Haul trucks and trailers kept in the outside storage area shall not exceed 3 at any time. that the outside storage area be limited to U-Haul rental trucks and trailers exclusively. We have also added the 180-day clause requiring a certificate of occupancy or building permit being obtained within that time frame. And finally, should the property be declared a public nuisance, it shall be subject to a rehearing and possible revocation of the special use permit. And that concludes the staff report, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Is the petitioner present? Want to come forward, please? Let's swear you in. Do you swear the evidence you're about to present is the truth, sir?
Yes, sir.
May I have your name and address?
Mike Vlamis, my business address or my home address?
Home address.
12924 West Tanglewood Circle, Palos Park, Illinois.
Thank you. Anything you'd like to make? Any comments?
No, just that the city of Joliet moved Willie World Cycles here in 2002 to make way for the ballpark, the baseball field downtown. So we moved here in '02. I bought the store in '04 and have been operating a motorcycle dealership since then. And then 5 years ago, we started leasing U-Haul trucks and trailers and put them in the far west south corner around our building.
Where the loading docks are there?
Yes, sir. And there's no ingress or egress on that side.
Yeah, you got those posts up. That's
Yes,
it,
sir.
right? The
No one
stuff.
can drive in and out there. And there's a picture of it right there. And we have our own trucks and trailers there for Willie World, too. You can see a trailer right there in our truck. That's the loading dock, and that's, you see how kind of hidden it is in the west side of our building? It's not exposed in the parking lot or to the homes or the residents. There is a assisted living facility across the street from our parking lot now, and a residential home there. And everything's been running very smoothly since '02 and since '04, since I bought the property.
Okay, any other comments you'd like to make?
No, I'm only here because someone is petitioning that we shouldn't be able to do this.
Okay. Any questions from the board? No comments? Anybody in the audience wishing to speak in favor of this petition? Come forward, please. Do you swear the evidence you're about to present is the truth, ma'am?
Yes, I do.
May I have your name and address?
My name is Antonia Kreinstaff, 148 Catherine Street. I'm actually the direct neighbor of Willie World. I'm the single residence. And I just want to state that I have absolutely no problem with the U-Haul being there. It doesn't interfere with nothing. And I had a neighbor going around with a petition and asked him, why you doing this petition? He said, he doesn't like to look at it. Mayor say the neighbor lives over 600 feet away from it. There at no time are more than 2 of the one-ton trailers there, and it's all these years ahead. I've never seen more than 2, and that is the most ever happened. You never see more than 3 of them. Mostly it's just these little trailers, and it's not really interfering with the neighborhood or anything. I have absolutely no problem with it.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to speak in favor? Anyone opposed? Come forward, please. Who is it back there? I saw a hand go up. You swear the evidence you're about to present is the truth?
I do.
Could I have your name and address?
Cassie Waterman, and my home address is 3231 Sharon Court in Joliet, and my business address is 107 North Reed Street. So Mike and I share a common parking lot. Autumn Adult Daycare is the business. And I really don't have a concern with him parking the trucks there. My
So
concern
you're not
is...
opposed to this?
Oh, I am, because he's going to want to pull them through my parking lot to come in and leave, to
Okay.
ingress, egress. And, you know, these are amateurs pulling trailers and/or driving large trucks, and I'm concerned for my staff and my vehicles that are going to be parked out in the parking lot that he feels that he can utilize in any way he wants.
Okay, thank you for your comments.
Thank you.
Care to answer that, sir?
All I can say is I don't feel anything of how I want to use the parking lot. There's two entrances and exits, and each one has an in and out. So there's an in and out and an in and out. We don't have
It's
to.
off of Reed Street.
Yes, sir. And we don't have to specifically use that one or this one. I can advise my U-Haul rentals to please use the one closest to my property to go in and out. And regarding amateurs, well, everyone who has a driver's license is an amateur, and these people rent trucks, and for 5 years now, everything's been running perfectly, and I got an award for being an outstanding provider to community service from U-Haul. I've never had one incident, not just with U-Haul, but not just with Willie World. And you might imagine, it's sales, service, new, used, parts, accessories, lots of people coming there, and I'm open 6 days a week. But I'm such a good operator, I believe.
But there's no necessity, though, for them to use the other entrance to make a turn of any kind.
There's not. I can't police that, but I can suggest that they don't go in and out there. I can.
Well, when you rent the vehicles, you could tell them which lane.
Please exit and enter here for U-Haul.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
So
I
it's-
can do that.
all right, thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak in opposition? Come forward. I swear you in. Do you swear the evidence you're about to present is the truth?
I do.
Name and address, please.
Jay McGowan, 106 North Reed Street. Okay, I feel that, first of all, that the neighborhood was not given the fair notice concerning this meeting. All people in the neighborhood have a right to the notification, proper notification concerning this meeting, especially the neighbors who are in line of sight with the facility. And the reason for that is because even though Michael says that they're gonna park on the west side of his building, he's open till 7 PM during the summer. These vehicles come in and out at all times, day or night. I live right across the street, and I wake up the next morning, open my blinds, the first thing I get to see is a U-Haul trailer staring in my face across the street. They park anywhere in the parking lot they want to, so him saying that it's gonna be on the west side and nobody's gonna see it is wrong, because there's other houses over there besides the woman that was up here. As far as the notification for this meeting, you would think that his address being 101 North Reed Street, that the notification sign would be on Reed Street. It was not, it was protected.
Park back where they're gonna be parked.
It was parked back where they were gonna be parked underneath a tree where nobody could see it. I have pictures for you.
We've all been there, I think, and looked at it. Thank you. What about the notification here, Kendall? That was done legally, wasn't it?
Yes, all property owners within 300 feet should have received a notice from the city.
And it was advertised in the paper?
Yes.
Kendall, do you think that the sign being on Catherine Street and not on Reed Street is a conspicuous place in the property for the sign?
The business itself, the building is on Reed Street, so it should have been placed on the Reed Street
Okay,
side.
and the second thing is, also in the zoning, I believe it says that a minimum of one sign for each street abating the property. So that means there should have been a sign on Reed Street and on Catherine Street, correct?
That is correct.
Then it wasn't posted properly, is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, thank you. Then I'd like to also say that I did make sure that the neighbors were properly notified by writing a petition and walking it around. I'd like to read it into the record if possible.
How long is it?
It's a very short one.
Go ahead.
Okay, this petition is against the issuing of special use permit 2014-14 to Willie World Cycles. The special use permit would allow the U-Haul truck and trailer rentals to be operated out of the location at 101 North Reed Street. We, the undersigned, concerned neighbors living and/or owning property within the immediate vicinity of 101 North Reed Street in Joliet, Illinois, strongly object to the issuing of special use permit 2014-14 to the owner of this property. The issuing of this permit for a U-Haul truck and trailer operation at 101 North Reed Street, which is located less than 100 feet from our residential neighborhood, is an unsuitable eyesore for this neighborhood. When we look out our windows and we are enjoying our yards, we should not have to look at an ugly U-Haul truck or trailer tainting our view. This eyesore is also unsuitable and totally out of character for our neighborhood. We also feel that the presence of the U-Haul equipment has a negative impact on the property values, which we work so hard to own, maintain, and improve. The owners of Willie World are currently operating this U-Haul business without any special use permit by the city of Joliet. When the U-Haul operation was brought to attention of city officials, city staff were instructed to investigate. The investigation concluded that Willie World is violating the zoning ordinance of the city of Joliet. In a memo dated November 26th, 2013, the Director of the Community and Economic Development of the city of Joliet stated, and I quote, "Willie World will need a variation of use and a special use permit to continue the U-Haul rental operation." We agree with the Director of the Community and Economic Development statement. However, Willie World is a B3 general business operating in a B1 neighborhood business district. Therefore, a variation of use permit should be required no matter what the outcome of the special use permit application. We feel that everyone in our neighborhood should be allowed access to U-Haul rental equipment. U-Haul rental equipment locations are at the northeast corner of Larkin Avenue, McDonough Street, and at the northeast corner of Essington Road and Ingalls, just to name a few of these dealerships. These U-Haul rental dealerships are located very close to our neighborhood and more than adequate for our neighborhood's needs. And these are the reasons that we, the concerned citizens, strongly object to the issuing a special use permit 2014 for the U-Haul operation by the owners of the property at 101 North Reed Street. And I've got this signed by 20 people. And when I went around, I only went to locations that are houses that are in direct line of sight with the parking lot at 101 North Reed Street. I did not go anywhere around the neighborhood. In fact,
I have to inform you that this board cannot accept written petitions, though, as any evidence.
okay. That's fine. I have, if anybody wants to see it,
Place it on file with the secretary if you wish.
okay. Leslie, I believe that the board needs to know that one neighbor directly across the street from where they're going to be stored, his name is Odin Garcia. He signed the petition, and he told me that he has on several occasions called the police because vandals were in these trailers. And we don't want this in our neighborhood. We don't want something that's going to attract vandals and vandalism to a residential neighborhood. These people are only 100 feet away from where he's going to store these things. We don't want them here, and that's the bottom line. This is first of all, B3 business is operating at B1 building without a permit.
We're aware of the process. That's why we're here.
And we think that first of all, let's put the horse before the cart. Let's get a variation of use permit for the building, and then ask for a special use permit for the U-Haul dealership. We shouldn't be asking for something that should be in a B3 building to begin with by and placing it in a B1 location. That's it.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Secretary, any comments on the sequence of petitions?
May I comment?
Hold on a second.
Thank you.
Yes, with regards to the variation of use versus the special use permit, staff was instructed by our legal counsel that just the special use permit in this particular case was the appropriate means of pursuing approval to do the U-Haul business here.
So there's nothing wrong with the process legally?
Correct.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm going to allow you to rebut, and then that's going to be it.
Please, thank you.
We don't have any encores here.
First of all, I was only given one sign. Had I been given two, I would have put them both up. Secondly, I didn't know where to put it. I'm sure if I put it on Reed Street, Mr. McGowan would have
No,
complained.
let's not get into
I'm just saying that I didn't put it in
Stick
front of
with
the actual
facts.
location. I used my judgment, so you can blame me. I put it there because that's where the problem is. May I go to this picture here,
Go ahead.
please? Thank you. So the U-Haul is right here, right in this little area right here. I own all this, right? Mr. McGowan lives over here. He does not see the U-Haul, it's behind my building here. I put the sign right here, so these people, these two houses right here, could see it. I put it right in front of where I was parking the U-Haul so they could see it. If I did the wrong thing, then I did. But if I had another sign, I would have put one here and there. But mind you, that's where it is, and that's where I put the sign. Secondly, it's not where I want to put them. It's where I have been parking them for 5 years and never had a complaint. We moved there in 2002. I bought the store in '04. Everything was running smoothly until 2008, when Mr. McGowan,
Not get into
Okay.
personal arguments.
well, that letter was written by him.
Okay,
I
and
could have
we-
writ-
We heard the letter, we've heard your statements.
And he also said 20 houses. There's 2 houses to the west. That's it. There's not
No,
20.
I've been to the site, I think every board member has been.
I don't know what else to say. I'm
Is
just
there
trying
anyone
to
else
just run a decent business here.
Anyone else wishing to speak in opposition? Chair closes the petition to the floor and asks the board for discussion and a vote.
Move for approval, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the petition. Call the roll.
Mr. Ferguson.
Aye.
Mr. Graham.
Aye.
Ms. Nevadas. Mr. Riggs.
Aye.
Ms. Darley. Aye. Mr. Hennessy.
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Petition 2415 is Gerald Cerny.
Petition, petition number 2014.
Petitioner here?
Yes, here.
Oh, okay, come on forward. Couldn't see you back there.
Petition number 2014-15. The applicant is Gerald Cerny Jr. The owner, it is in trust, Chicago Title Land Trust, number 5421. Location is 3300 Avondale Court. Their request is for a variation of a required front yard setback on a through lot from 30 feet to 20 feet to allow construction of an 8-foot by 10-foot shed. The applicant would like to construct a shed at the rear corner of the lot located at 3300 Avondale Court. A variation is required because the petitioner's lot is a through lot with frontage on Route 6 as well as Avondale Court. The purpose of the shed is to provide storage for yard maintenance equipment. The lot is an irregular shaped parcel, approximately 11,300 square feet. The site is located in an established Far East Side neighborhood known as Springview West. The property is zoned R2 single-family residential. The site is improved with a 2-story frame residence which was built in 2000. Under surrounding zoning, land use, and character, land use and zoning to the north is Maple Road right-of-way, an institutional Will County Forest Preserve shelter, and that's unincorporated Will County. Land use and zoning to the south and east is single-family residential, zoned R2, and to the west is undeveloped, also zoned R2 single-family. Applicable regulations are as noted. This was on the agenda for the Community Design Review Board meeting held in early May. There were no comments regarding this particular request at that meeting. The proposed 8-foot by 10-foot shed will generally conform to the current style of the petitioner's residence. The shed will have a setback of 20 feet from the north property line at Maple Road. The shed will be located 12.5 feet from the petitioner's east property line and 7.5 feet from the west property line. Should the board desire to approve this variation, staff recommends that the following conditions be attached. That should the property be declared a public nuisance, it shall be subject to a rehearing and possible revocation of the variation. And finally, we have included the 180-day clause requiring a building permit to be obtained within that time frame. And that concludes the staff report, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. You swear the evidence you're about to present is the truth?
Yes.
Could I have your name and address?
Michelle Cerny, 3300 Avondale Court.
Any comments you'd like to make, ma'am?
Actually, my husband noted that he made a mistake on the drawing. He actually wanted to make the shed a little bit bigger, like by 10 by 12, which would have, is in the parameters that's allowed, not concrete.
Staff, what do you have to say about that?
Let's see. It looks like it's not going to be a lot coverage issue. As long as the larger size can fit outside of those easements, we don't have an issue.
We have somebody check that to make sure?
Yeah, we'll check it.
Okay, so. Go ahead, anything else?
Nope, that's it.
Good. Any questions or comments from the board? Anyone in the audience wishing to speak in favor? Is there anyone opposed? Chair closes petition's floor and asks the board for discussion and a vote.
Motion to approve.
Why don't you make it subject to the parameters that they suggested being legal and appropriate?
So moved.
We have a
I'll
second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the petition. Call the roll, please.
Mr. Graham?
Aye.
Mr. Riggs?
Aye.
Ms. Darley?
Aye.
Mr. Ferguson?
Aye.
Mr. Hennessy?
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Brian Rigsby. Petition 241416.
Petition number 2014-16. The applicant is Brian Rigsby, who is the builder. The owner of the property is Trinity Services, location 517 Nicholson Street. The request is for a series of variances. The petitioner is requesting a variation of minimum spacing of a community residential home for 4 residents from 1,200 feet to 880 feet. A variation of maximum allowed lot coverage from 30% to 36%. A variation on a required front yard setback from 30 feet to 25 feet. And a variance on a rear yard setback from 25 feet to 22 feet 8 inches in order to allow construction of a new single-family home for Trinity Services at the subject location. The 6,000 square foot site is currently vacant due to demolition of the original single-family home, and that demolition occurred back in 2011. The property is zoned R2 single-family residential. Under surrounding zoning, land use, and character, both properties to the north and south are 2-family structures with R3 zoning, and that's 1 and 2 family residential zoning. Both properties to the east and west are single-family homes with R2 single-family residential zoning. Applicable regulations are as noted. There were no comments at the Community Design Review Board, which was held in early May, regarding this particular request. Under general discussion, the community residential home is being proposed for 4 individuals with developmental disabilities that are integrated within Trinity Services Community Integrated Living Arrangements. These types of arrangements serve more than 500 persons with disabilities and are currently located in residential neighborhoods throughout the Southwest Chicago region, including Homewood, Park Forest, Frankfurt, Madison, Mokina, New Lenox, Lockport, Elwood, Naperville, Crete, Crest Hill, Wilmington, Braidwood, Manhattan, Aurora, and Joliet. Each home is staffed by independent living counselors who support the residents to maintain their home and participate in the life of the community. The spacing request is required due to an existing community home located on Bridge Street, which is 880 feet from the subject location. City ordinances require that community homes for the proposed number of residents be spaced a minimum distance of 1,200 feet from existing community homes. In addition, variances for front and rear yard setbacks and lot coverage are being requested in order to construct the 2,211 square foot ranch house. The front yard setback is consistent with adjacent homes. A two-car asphalt driveway is being proposed in the backyard that leads to the house. There is no garage being proposed at this time. And that concludes the staff report, Mr. I'm sorry, there is a condition, and that is that off-street parking, once put in place, remain in the future. And that concludes the staff report, Mr. Chairman.
Do you swear the evidence you're about to present is the truth?
I do, sir.
Name and address, please.
Lisa Redmond, 10935 Front Street.
Any comments you'd like to make, ma'am?
No, sir.
Really?
I think you did a wonderful job.
Congratulations, staff. Any comments from the board? No questions? Anybody in the audience wishing to speak in favor? Is there anyone opposed? Chair closes the petition and asks the board for discussion and a vote.
Motion to approve?
I'll second that, but I'd like to put the public nuisance condition on it also.
We have a motion and a second to approve subject to the conditions as stated. Call the roll.
Mr. Riggs?
Aye.
Ms. Darling? Aye. Mr. Ferguson?
Aye.
Mr. Graham?
Aye.
Mr. Hennessy?
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Nice presentation. Okay, Michael Martin, attorney for Fire Management Services. That's your petition 2014-17.
Petition number 2417, the applicant is Michael Martin.
2014-17.
2014-17. The applicant is Michael Martin, who is the attorney representing the owner, Fire Management Services. Location 1627 Rock Creek Boulevard, and their request is for a special use permit. The petitioner is requesting a special use permit to allow a medical marijuana dispensary at 1627 Rock Creek Boulevard. The 4-acre site is a multi-tenant industrial condominium unit within the Rock Run Business Park. The tenant space in question is an end unit that includes 3,700 square feet of office space and 25,000 square feet of warehouse space, which is equipped with an overhead door for access. The property owners have owned the unit since August 2007 and most recently used it as a fire protection, prevention, and alarm services sales business. The unit has been vacant since September 2013. The property is zoned I-1 light industrial. Under surrounding zoning, land use, and character, the properties surrounding this subject site are a mix of commercial and industrial uses that maintain the I-1 light industrial zoning. Applicable regulations are as noted. There were no comments regarding this particular request at the Community Design Review Board meeting, which was in early May. The Land Use Committee met on May 1, 2014, and recommended that this request proceed through the process, eventually to City Council for final action. Minutes of that meeting are available upon request. Under general discussion, the state of Illinois recently enacted the Compassionate Use of Medical Cannabis Pilot Program Act, otherwise known as the Medical Cannabis Act, which, as a matter of state law, legalizes the cultivation, transportation, sale, possession, and use of medical cannabis pursuant to the terms and conditions set forth therein. As per Section 140 of the Medical Cannabis Act, the City of Joliet enacted zoning regulations covering medical cannabis cultivation centers, as well as medical cannabis dispensing organizations on January 7th of 2014. As per those regulations, a dispensary is required to meet certain conditions and receive approval of a special use permit from the Zoning Board of Appeals and the Mayor and City Council. The subject site meets all required spacing and location requirements and will need to meet all other terms of the ordinance. A user for the medical dispensary is not known at this time. The owners are seeking the zoning approval now and then will market the unit as an allowed medical cannabis dispensary if approved. At the time that a user desires this space and a contract has been completed, they would be required to register with the Illinois Department of Financial and Professional Regulation and be in good standing and operate in strict compliance with the Compassionate Use of Medical Cannabis Pilot Program Act and with the city ordinance number 17186. Should the zoning board desire to recommend approval, the following conditions shall be included: that off-street parking remain in the future. We've also included the 180, the special use granted shall herein terminate and lapse unless a building permit or certificate of occupancy is obtained not later than 365 days of the effective date of approval. The board may grant an extension of this period valid for no more than 180 days. Should the property be declared a public nuisance, it shall be subject to a rehearing and a possible revocation of the special use permit. And that concludes the staff report, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Gentlemen, do you swear the evidence you're about to present is the truth? Nudge 'em. Yeah, that's it. Wake up.
I do.
Can I have your names and addresses?
My name is Mike Martin, 15 West Jefferson, Joliet. I'm the attorney for the applicant.
My name's Dave Donka, 459 Haverhill Court, Sugar Grove, Illinois.
Mr. Donka, along with his other two partners, is Fire Management LP. They are the owners of the unit. Just one correction on Mr. Jackson's staff report. The unit is 2,500 square feet, not 25,000. It has 1,000 square feet roughly of already finished office space. It's ceramic tile floors, quarry granite countertops with a counter, handicapped accessible washroom, and the rest of it is a storage space in the back. That's a 2-story storage space with an overhead door because the medical marijuana law, it's still up for discussion right now, but some of the rules and regulations may require that there be drive-in deliveries to the unit. So this has the capacity to actually drive in and deliver the medical marijuana into the unit and shut the door, and then there's a delivery. It provides other things, safety and security procedures, the state law. There has to be 2 safes, one for the money, one for the medical marijuana. There's not going to be a large amount of drugs on this property at any one given time. Your Walmart, your Target, and your Osco will have more drugs and more cash than this unit will have. And really, in my mind, it's a pharmacy, and it's a needed use. Will County will have 3 dispensaries. There's no grows yet. The State Police District, District 5, which is Kankakee and Grundy, I believe, will have 1 grow. And the medical dispensaries have to buy from an Illinois grow. I think that having a dispensary, and when you go into the research of medical marijuana, it's not what a lot of people think or the impression that people have. The THC content, which is the chemical that gives people a high in marijuana, is generally low in medical marijuana. In fact, there's products that they can manufacture for medical marijuana that have absolutely no THC content at all. And that gives the people who need it relief. Most of it is in oil form and pill form. Some of it is smoked, yes. The contents of it are regulated. It's a developed product for the type of condition that's prescribed by a doctor. So it has worked wonders for epileptic children. It has worked wonders for people undergoing a chemotherapy for cancer. And this location is a perfect location to have it. We're here because the way the law works is we have to have the zoning before an applicant can apply to the state. Right now, they're still in a comment period. It was a 90-day comment period. They have not appointed anybody to actually make the decision as to who they're going to allow to be operators of a dispensary. But there are significant requirements. There's liquidity requirements, that there has to be a substantial sum of money in the corporation that's going to do this. I think it's $250,000.
$1 million, I think it is.
Well, the grows are more. The grows, and then there's license fees, and there's background checks. But before you can get to that stage, we have to have the zoning. You have a zoning ordinance that says I-1 is the category. We're I-1. It says, you need a special use permit. The special use permit, we're 1,375 feet from Joliet Junior College. We're out in an area that has good access. There's 24 parking spots in the parking lot in front of our building. We are already having alarms. We have video cameras. Mr. Donka's business for years and years was Aurora Tri-State Fire Protection District. That's what they did. They did alarms. They did halon systems. And in Joliet, he had Joliet Tri-State, which has operated here since 1995. This site, from the time that he bought it, which was, 2008, I think?
I think
2007, sold CO2. And then it sold it until September 2013 for fire extinguishers and that. And people would come and fill up their fire extinguishers. And we had a 10,000-pound CO2 tank on the property. A company you may be familiar with called Cintas, they're the floor mat people, CINTAS, bought out Mr. Donka, and they decided to close this site as far as a tenant. So Mr. Donka is still the owner with his two partners that ran the companies before. So from that regard, we'll have to upgrade the alarm systems. We'll have to upgrade the video cameras. But the site is a wonderful location to put this. It's in an industrial park. There's 14 units in the building. Quite frankly, most of them now appear to be vacant. We've been vacant since September of 2013. And we're looking at a location, and I don't know if Mr. Donka is going to do it. I mean, he has the financial wherewithal to do it, operate the dispensary and submit that. But we're also taking applications from tenants or potential tenants to go through and do it, and we just be the landlord. And that, at this point, is something that might be more attractive to him as the owner. But the reason why we went from 180 days to a year on the special use permit is it's not going to happen in 180 days. They don't even have the people appointed who are going to make the decision about where the dispensaries go yet. And we may have to come back in the 180 days and ask for additional time. But the year was greatly appreciated. It was recommended by the city at the Land Use Committee. I guess maybe now I'll be quiet and ask if there's questions of myself or Mr. Donka regarding the matter.
I think it's interesting that you're in fire management services. If anybody's smoking illegally, you can extinguish them.
Good.
We don't have any problems with any state regulations or anything. This is controlled mostly by the state statutes, isn't it?
That's correct, yes.
So all we're granting here is space for them to open and operate under state standards.
Yes.
Right. You could approve us, this site, and we could submit an applicant and the state could say no.
I understand.
As well as you could approve 3 other sites in Joliet and they all could get a no. But with 3 coming to Will County and Joliet being the center of the county and the county seat and a very large population center, I think Joliet should have a site. And I also believe that this is a great location for the site.
Any questions from the board? Comments? Anyone in the audience wishing to speak in favor? All teetotalers. Anyone opposed?
We have an objector, I know.
Do we have a spokesperson, or are we all going to be talking?
I'm actually representing the management company for the
Okay, come on forward. You gentlemen swear the evidence you're about to present is the truth?
I do.
May I have your names and addresses?
Jason Doran, 524 Valley Forge, South Elgin. I'm an attorney for Centerline Management or Real Estate Services. It's a management company for Rock Run Business Park Condominium Association, which is the association that controls the building.
Scott Crompton at 13 Whit Road, Barrington. I'm the management company. I own the management company that manages the building, as well as I own the adjacent unit and a unit on down the way in the building as well.
And your objections?
Our objections are that it's not a community of neighboring owners. This is a community of ownership. We have, the way the ownership works is each unit owner owns outright the area within the four walls of their unit. Beyond that, it's community property, so parking lots, driveways, green areas, lights, even the outer wall of the building is community property. So when we're passing...
The roof.
The roof. So when we're passing a special use, we're passing a special use not just for this owner. We're putting this on every single other owner as part of that ownership interest. This particular owner owns 4.088% of this condo association. He's the smallest owner in the association. Our issue is that this particular use today violates our declaration. It does not, from afar, we have a special use, we have a zoning, and it seems to fit. But when you take a closer look at this, because it is community-owned, this special use can't fit yet. Nobody came to us and asked us whether, this owner never came to us and asked us whether this special use would be permitted by the other owners. It was never put to a vote. Mr. Martin mentioned that they had CO2 in the building prior to this. That was actually wrote into the declaration to allow that. So these owners agreed that Mr. Martin's client could use that CO2. It's actually written in our declaration.
So your argument here is about the declarations of the association rather than the implementation of the tenancy itself?
Our argument is that the
Use of the property.
it would be the use of the property. Parking ratios, he mentioned that there's 24 spots. Mr. Martin's clients own, we have 2,404 square feet. He said 25, whatever. He still has a right to 4.5 parking spots pursuant to the deck. All that's common area. We also have concerns about increased traffic flow. This is a quasi-retail use. Mr. Martin said pharmacy. It's similar to a pharmacy. That doesn't fall into the industrial use that we have today. And again, owners should have a right to make a decision whether their property is going to be used for retail purposes. In addition, Mr. Crompton has informed me that the insurance rates, they checked the insurance rates. Industrial insurance rates are much less at 0.09 cents per square foot as compared to a retail use, which is at 53 cents a square foot. The condo deck, and again, going to your point, we're going back to the condo deck, it indicates that that owner can't do something to increase those insurance rates unless the association approves. There's been no approval here.
Sir, once again, let me get back to you're talking about internal problems within your association. It's no different than a homeowners association. Somebody wants to come in and build
My point.
legally zoning. We don't have any control over your internal association rules, and that's pretty much what you're arguing here.
Well, my point is that by approving this, you're going to be putting control on these other owners' property. We're not talking about neighboring
That's a
owners.
legal problem that you're going to have to work out within your association should this be passed. It's nothing that we have any control over.
Fair enough. We wanted to make sure you were aware of that.
Okay.
In addition, I'm not confident that the Joliet statute allows this. The Joliet statute indicates that the following use may be allowed, and then it says if the dispensary must, it's one of the requirements is the dispensary must be currently registered. The way, and I understand what the state law says, but the way our ordinance reads, or the way this ordinance reads, it must be currently registered. This space is not currently registered, and in fact, Mr. Martin informed us that it's still up in the air. There's a 90-day comment period, so we don't even know if this space is going to satisfy the state requirements. I think it's premature.
A couple of points of clarification. The building has 2 vacant units in it. The rest of the building is occupied at this point. One of the vacant units was in the process of being sold, is my understanding. So 3 vacant units, including the petitioners, I'm sorry. So there'll be 2 vacant units in short order. The rest of the space is occupied. One of my biggest concerns as the property manager and owner of adjacent units in the building is that this building was designed for industrial use. It's, has industrial ratio parking, and it's designed to have trucks coming on and off the property, and it's designed for industrial use. And putting retail and industrial together in the same environment has a tendency to cause problems, not only from an association standpoint, which Jason has expressed, but there is concerns overall with how it's going to mix and how it's going to operate together on our part. And the other biggest concern is you've said it's not necessarily the issue of the board, but we're here in a situation where somebody is asking for forgiveness versus coming and asking for permission. Had they come in and talked with us and said, this is what we are proposing, and we had the opportunity to sit down with all the other owners who own space in this development and speak with them and get their concerns so we could address the concerns all at once, we might not be here arguing this. But we have not been given that opportunity. There's cost concerns with this type of use versus the other type of uses. Maybe the petitioner or whoever is going to ultimately operate this would be a good corporate neighbor and say, if there's cost concerns, we'll absorb those. But again, we don't have any of the opportunity to even comment on it at this point. So that's probably one of our biggest concerns.
Well, we're breaking new ground here, no matter what happens, and none of us are quite certain exactly how this is all going to turn out. I'd like to give the petitioner a chance maybe to rebut some of your comments.
Yeah, and I'll be very brief. Okay. First, there's two associations. There's the Condominium Association. There's the underlying Rock Run Association. And from the underlying Rock Run Association, permitted uses include anything that it's zoned, and it encompasses I-1. It also has specific language in it that the declaration is subject to rezoning of the property. So any rezoning that you do legally rezones the property. So that decision regarding zoning is up to you with the normal considerations that you have. If these gentlemen believe that we are somehow breaching the covenants, their remedy in the condominium association covenants and under the underlying covenants is to seek an injunction, as the chairman has said. Secondly, I find it a little bit disingenuous to say that we did not approach them. I sent to the city on April 16th, 2014, a copy of my letter to Mr. Crumpton, which was sent via certified mail to him, informing him that we were applying for a special use permit for a medical marijuana dispensary, as well as Mr. Donka, about a month before that, informed him that he was going to apply for a special use permit for a medical marijuana dispensary for the site. I also sent to Mr. Duran, the attorney, on April 28th, a long letter explaining the medical marijuana dispensary and the items that we have represented to you, together with a lot of the other information that was filed, and I think that's in your staff report, or it's attached to the staff report. The response was on April 28th, I'll get it back to my client and we'll get back to you. The first time they got back to us is when they stood up here today to talk, to object. They even declined my opportunity to, when I saw them here and knew that they were here, to talk before the meeting to see if there were any issues that we could hammer out. Parking. This unit is expected, according to state regulations, to attract about 200 patients who will probably make 2 visits per month. That means a customer flow of around 20 individuals per day. The CO2 business did the same thing. And plus the CO2 business had 8 employees. This unit will probably have less employees. So there's no additional parking. The other issues that they have regarding insurance, if they really do want to sit down and talk, I've already made at least 3 invitations, and Mr. Donka made 1. So we're available to talk and happy to talk about those. But right now, as far as zoning and as far as the issuance of a special use permit, I think we've met all of the requirements, and we would ask for your approval.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sir? Do you swear the evidence you're about to present is the truth, sir?
I do.
May I have your name and address?
My name is Jeffrey Smith. I represent IDI. He's the developer of Rock Run Business Park. I live in Glen Ellen, Illinois.
Okay.
I'm glad they did bring up, there are two covenants in this park. There's covenants that are associated with the condominium and the building itself, but there's also the covenants that run with the property. And everybody that owns property is subject to the covenants of the property. And I'd like to read that section because I don't think he read it completely when he said that you have the right to change zoning and whatnot, which you do. But it also, it states that subject to rezoning of property of any portion thereof or any variance from amendment to said zoning classification for which the declarant's prior approval has been obtained. We're the declarant. They haven't come to us for approval. So the property itself can't go through that process until that happens. It also goes on further to say that, however, that any proposed use must be harmonious with the intent of this declaration and consistent with the uses of other commercial sites within the park as determined in the reasonable opinion of the declarant. We haven't had that conversation. We have a concern with, as we're not here to pass judgment on the new laws of the state and whether medical marijuana is a good thing or a bad thing, but we do think it's a dangerous place to have this. This is an industrial park with over 3.5 million square feet of industrial property. We have 80,000-pound rigs driving through there, 200-300 of them a day. And that's right at the main entrance to the park. So we think it's a dangerous situation to have that type of a use at that location from a traffic standpoint. And we still feel it's it's their obligation to get the declarant's approval before that can take place, and that has not taken place.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? I'll give you 5 minutes, sir.
Just a couple of points of clarification. Mr. Donka did call me, and in fact, I did forward the association documents to him via email, and I forwarded the park documents to him via email. He asked me about who the other owners in the building were, and I said, I'm not at liberty to necessarily give out phone numbers and everything, but, here's the documents, there's a procedure to go through, if you want to get a variance on what's allowed here. So, saying that we've declined the opportunity to come in and talk about this, we've never been, just like Mr. Smith, we've never been formally approached. There is a procedure in the association documents that they needed to go through.
And once again, we're into same procedures?
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Can I make one comment to that?
Okay, last shot here, too.
All right, I think you may have understated my my reaching out to him. I have a number of emails, at least 3, and which I'd be happy to produce, and a letter that I sent, which I had to follow up with a phone call because I got no response for the letter. And I specifically asked that if we needed a vote on this, that I was requesting a vote. We had previously had a vote for some dog kennel a month or 2 before. That's why I knew that there was a voting issue. But I did ask for that vote. I did say, just as the manager of the association, tell me what I need to do. I got no response.
Okay, I'm going to close discussion to the floor. As I stated before, we're breaking new ground here. None of us are quite certain exactly what the procedures are or what the ramifications are going to be. I know the city would like to have these within the city limits, as the county would like to have them within the county. There are only so many to go around, and you're going to have legal battles through the whole process of developing these things, either because of the real estate problems you're talking about or because of the personal opinions as to the use or non-use of medical marijuana. I don't think we're not a court of law here, so we're not here to decide the legal problems of your associations. Basically, what we're doing here today is just approving a location that seems to meet all the standard requirements of the state. I'm going to close my comments and ask the board for discussion and a vote on the issue.
I do have a question.
Sure.
How many units are in the building and how many owners?
I think there's 14 units in the building, and I think First Midwest Bank owns how many?
There are
7, at least.
there are 6 owners.
And how many units are occupied of the 14? Thank you.
Any other questions or comments from the board? None? The motion would be in order.
I'll move for approval, Mr. Chairman.
We have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second to approve the petition. Call the roll.
Ms. Darley?
No?
Mr. Ferguson?
Aye.
Mr. Graham?
Aye.
Mr. Riggs?
Aye.
Mr. Hennessy?
Aha. Well, I'm going in for cataract operation next month. I may be, find this one, maybe I'm a little prejudiced. But as I said before, this is a new thing, and it's got to start someplace. And if there's going to be legal arguments, we might as well get them started and find out where we stand on these issues. I'm going to vote aye. Not for my own personal reasons. Okay. That'll go to the city council for final decision. Under old business, petition 2014-13.
Petition number 2014-13. Excuse me. The applicant is Todd Lucas. The owner of the property is Midwest Capital Investments, whose principal is Scott Lieberscher. Location 809 Woodruff Road. Mr. Lucas's request is for a special use permit to allow a social club in an existing structure. The applicant requests a special use permit to allow the Black Souls Motorcycle Club, a Joliet-based motorcycle club, in an existing commercial structure located at 809 Woodruff Road. The property is located at the northwest corner of Woodruff Road and Edge Hill Street on the northeast side of Joliet. A variation of use to allow an American Legion post that was post 18 coffee shop, sweet shop, and ice cream shop in the former Sylvan Athletic Club was previously approved in 1994. A one-year extension of the ice cream shop was approved in 1999. In 2004, the zoning board approved a variation of use to allow a private social club with restaurant. In October 2006, the city council approved a variation of use to allow a retail beauty supply business. In 2013, the zoning board approved a variation of use to allow an animal rescue veterinary clinic and animal boarding facility. That particular use did not obtain final approval through the city council. The petitioner initially presented the concept to the Forest Park Community Center. The petition was tabled at the April 2014 zoning board meeting to allow time for the petitioner to present the proposal to the neighborhood. That presentation was made on April 21st at the Forest Park Neighborhood Council meeting. The property is located in the established northeast side Forest Park neighborhood. The site is zoned R3, which is 1 and 2 family residential zoning. The site consists of a 2,400 square foot, 1-story concrete block structure, which was built in 1950. Off-street parking for eight vehicles is provided in the blacktop parking lot located west of the structure. Under surrounding zoning, land use, and character, the adjacent property to the north, south, and east is single family, zoned R2, single family residential. An undeveloped parcel, zoned I2, general industrial, is located west of the site. Applicable regulations are as noted. There were no comments at the Community Design Review Board meeting, which was held in early May. The applicant plans to operate a small private social club at the site. A summary of the social club and floor plans should have been attached to your staff report. The mission of the club is to promote charitable endeavors, cultural improvements, commitment, loyalty, responsibility, respect, and unity. The social club currently consists of 11 members who are involved in a variety of charitable activities. donating pumpkins for Catholic charities, collecting canned goods for Daybreak Shelter. It should be noted that on-site parking is very limited. Therefore, the use of the site for large charitable events would present a practical difficulty due to inadequate off-street parking. Let's see here. An example of the parking capacity problem is that an event with 150 persons would require 30 parking spaces. And the site only has the 8 spaces that are currently there. Should the board be inclined to recommend approval of the special use permit, the following conditions will be included. Number 1, that the property shall not be expanded in the future. Number 2, that signage at the site shall conform to the R3 zoning district requirements. Number 3, that any aspect of the club that may be subject to business licensing shall secure the appropriate licensing. Number 4, that off-street parking for 8 vehicles shall remain in the future. 5, should the property be declared a public nuisance, it shall be subject to a rehearing and possible revocation of the special use permit. And number 6, we have included the 180-day clause requiring that a certificate of occupancy be obtained within that time frame. And that concludes the staff report, Mr. Chairman. There is a staff addendum. Recently, the Joliet Police Department provided a copy of a report detailing an incident on Saturday, April 12 at the subject site. Would you like me to read that into the record?
Yes, please.
Okay. On Saturday, May 12th, 2014, officers were dispatched to the subject location. Upon arrival, there was observed numerous vehicles parked in the grass area in front of the motorcycle club and in the parking lot. The club was coned off for motorcycle parking only. There were over 20 vehicles parked on the Edge Hill Avenue street. Some parked on Glen Street and a few vehicles on Charlesworth, on both sides of Charlesworth, south up to Ewing Street, as well as on Willard Lane. While the officers were investigating what was a fight, a motorcycle did do a burnout and sped off down Charlesworth in front of the officers. Later that evening, there was a party. When the party was over, the vehicles were gone. Numerous empty bottles were observed in the parkway of Charlesworth, on the front lawn of the building. Let's see. Social club, okay. The officers observed that the area of Charlesworth and Woodruff is a quiet neighborhood, and there was an observation that the motorcycle club could perhaps change the environment there. And that concludes the report.
Thank you. Just swear the evidence you're about to present is the truth, sir?
Yes, sir.
Name and address, please.
The address to the club is 809 Woodruff.
Okay, any comments you'd like to make?
We're a motorcycle club. We've been in existence for 4 years here in Joliet. We decided to get together and try to get a property as a place for us to be and to host different events. We were unaware of the property being zoned R3 from the beginning, so we signed a residential lease, but every place we looked at it online said commercial. So we thought that would be perfect for us due to the fact that we were a nonprofit organization, only to find out after the fact that we had to fill out this packet. It wasn't zoned what we thought it was, and here we are now. After the event and the police were called, I think that, we were made out to be something that we're not. We've heard a couple people that live in the area said that there were letters passed out saying that we were drug dealers and prostitutes. And in order to be in our organization, you have to have a career, and we're all family people. Just recently, I have a letter here that was typed up and put in some residents' mailboxes, telling them, trying to persuade them to oppose us be there, us not to be there, and if they can't come to the meeting, to call this number and oppose us being there. We're trying to help the
Who
community.
put out that letter, do you know, sir?
It doesn't say a name on it. They just typed it up and put it in the mailboxes in Spanish and English.
Okay, go ahead.
You know, when I talk to my members, I'm the president, and when I talk to my members, we knew from the beginning we were trying to do something positive with the community. I teach school. You see all the community things that we've done. We just recently did a cleanup in the Fairview homes, which is right up the street from us, partnering with Housing Authority. So we're trying to do something positive. You know, I know one bad thing sets back 100, but we've tried to reconcile with that, and we want to build with the community and find a place that we can be for a while. You know, so that's what I have to say.
Okay, any questions from the board? Thank you for your comments. Is there anybody in the audience wishing to speak in favor of this petition? Come forward, please.
Good afternoon, Chairman, board members.
Let's swear you in. Do you swear the evidence you're about to present is the truth?
Yes, I do.
May I have your name and address?
Mike Carruthers, Commissioner, Land Use Zoning, Will County, also owner of Legend 2 Sports Bar here in Joliet. On
You're a
behalf
former
of,
member of the zoning board,
I was,
actually.
been 8 years City of Joliet and 10 years now with the county. So the motorcycle club that's ahead of you, in front of you today, is asking for a special use to operate within a community that really needs the youth participation, not someone talking negative about them, that they're doing bad things, because as you know, Jameson Pub, everything else that's in Joliet has issues. So what they're asking is just for a fair chance to prove themselves that they can be part of a growing community. Now that we got a new city councilman, Betty Gavin on board, Terry Morris is new also, and the other city council people, they're just asking for a fair share.
Okay, that it, thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak in favor? You swear the evidence you're about to present is the truth, sir?
I do.
Name and address?
Lonzo Allen, 1205 Hague Avenue.
Okay.
I've been at the address for 42 years. I've been in this community all my life, but I've been at that address 42. And my argument is, I don't feel like they gave them the opportunity. They need an opportunity to present themselves. Right now, I heard a lot of speculation, stereotypes, this and that. I don't know the timetable that you give people to in the community to do different things, but I haven't seen that yet. So all I ask is that give them opportunity, see what they can do.
Okay,
Thank you.
Anyone else speaking in favor? Is there anyone wishing to speak in opposition? Come forward. How many people are here in opposition? Okay, do you have I'm not going to listen to everyone talk, so do you have a spokesperson designated? This is the gentleman here? Okay. Do you swear the evidence you're about to present is the truth?
Yes.
May I have your name and address?
Anthony Thompson, 806 Woodruff Road.
And you live in where in relation to this building?
Right across the street.
Across the street?
Okay. First of all, I'm gonna say the guys are good people. I'm not gonna sit there and say they're not good people. They're very good people. But my
Speak into
son,
the microphone, sir, please.
my son, who's 9 years old, okay, he got up the day of the fight. Daddy, there's a man bleeding in front of the house. Dad. He got out of his bed. He looked out his window. This guy was beat bad. Now, like I said, these are good. I know these guys are good people. And I had asked him at the board meeting, why didn't you call 911? A couple of the members decided they're going to beat the guy up, I guess, and take him off the property. Like I said, I don't think that's right. I don't think that's fair that I live across the street and my 9-year-old son had to see a guy plummeted. That's not fair. I live right there, and I saw the whole thing. Except I didn't see what happened inside the building, but I did see him being escorted across the street. And I just don't think that I should have to, if it happens again, who knows? You know, what is my guarantee that that's not gonna happen again?
Were club members involved in this?
I don't know the club members. That all I know is that the guy came from across from the club and he was beat bad.
From inside the building, or?
Like I said, I seen him coming across. I don't know, that's the only place he could have came from. And he was beat real bad and he was bleeding. And my 9-year-old kid shouldn't have to see that. I mean, that's not fair to him, and it's not fair to me. You know, now I gotta explain to him, every time a motorcycle pulls up, here they come again, Dad. But that's not necessarily meaning they're gonna do anything, but it's just a thought. And he apologized to me. He did. He apologized to me, said he was sorry, and he said it was some of the members that got out of control. But I mean, I just want to be a guarantee that this is not gonna happen again. You know, and I don't think it's fair for me to have to see something like that, or my child. That's all I have to say.
You understand that, I don't know how this is gonna go, but there is a clause in the petition that gives us, the board, the right that should it become a public nuisance, we can rescind any action that's taken.
Well, at the Forest Park meeting,
Does that influence your opinion at all?
like I said, the guys are good guys. I'm not saying anything about, but it's just individuals.
I'm asking you if that would influence your opinion.
Probably not.
Okay, that's all I want to know. Thank you.
Okay.
Anyone else want to speak? Ma'am? Do you swear the evidence you're about to present is the truth?
Yes, it is.
May I have your name and address?
My name is Jimmy Faye Cartwright. I am a business owner in the area as well as a taxpayer.
Where do you live, ma'am?
I live at 629 Barber Lane in Joliet, but my property is like 30 feet across from where this location is at.
Okay.
Okay, I have several properties in the area that I own as well as manage. And good afternoon to you. What I'd like to say is, on the question that you asked to the gentleman, there was a meeting that was held on April the 21st. This was tabled from your meeting last month so that the community could have an opportunity to meet the gentlemen and talk to them, because that opportunity was not presented to us. And I guess the question that I have for the board is this: can a person occupy and operate a facility that has not completely gone through the process yet? Because if that's the case, I have a little problem with that, because you're requesting a special use permit, you haven't completed the process, you're operating business, you're having parties, and I would just like to share with you all something that is about to take place if the approval process takes place. May I approach you, gentlemen?
Yes, please.
I understand that they say that they are a community, a organization that is to help to promote the community, but I don't see where a bike bash promotes the community, where you're gonna have dancing from 9 p.m. until, and you're gonna have folks from other areas, not within the city of Illinois. They're gonna be outside the city of Illinois, coming from all over into our community, disrupting the peace, quiet, and enjoyment of our community. This place, I've had owned property there for over 20 years. There's a number of people in the community that have lived there for a number of years, and they do not want a social club in the area. We have peace, quiet, enjoyment. We're not subject to loud noises other than the train. It's quiet, family, neighborhood, friends. We can, have our little events. It's quiet. We can go to bed at a decent hour and don't have to be concerned about motorcycles rubbing up in the area, people parking all over the area, leaving debris in the area, not maintaining it properly, or in the case, this incident that occurred that you read off to us in May. We don't fight down in that area, and we're not looking for that. A social club, from what I've experienced, they have their places outside areas so that they can rub up their bikes. And if you're going to have a bike bash, you're going to be rubbing up your bikes. You're not going to come into that community quiet. And if I'm an individual that worked nights and I have to go to work the next day, where's my peace, quiet, and enjoyment at? It's being taken away. And based on what you shared with us, I happened to go on your website where it says Section 21(7), Paragraph A, loud or unnecessary noise prohibited. It shall be unlawful for any person to make, continue, or cause, or to be made, or to continue any loud, unnecessary, or unusual noise, or any which annoys, disturbs, injures, or endangers the comfort, repose, health, peace, and safety of others within the city. Well, I'm within the city, along with other neighbors and families in the community, where our peace, quiet, and enjoyment is about to be taken away, as well as possibly pose safety hazards. Because if they only have 8 parking spots, you're getting ready to have a bash, and you're not even approved yet, well, what does that say? Where are you gonna park? That means you're gonna be blocking driveways, parking in people's locations, disrupting, their quiet, because again, bikes are not gonna come in quiet. And who's gonna police it? And all of that goes on, that goes along with it. These gentlemen are nice, I have no problem with them. What they're promoting is great, but we don't need a social club in our community. We have enough problems in our area as is, and this is not something that we would care to have. If it was a grocery store, a laundromat, or maybe even a daycare center, something that can benefit and bring the quality of life to the residents in that area, that would be great. But this is not something that we need. And I'm appealing to the board to ask you to really look at this, because in your area, do you have a social club? Are you woken up in the middle of the night by motorcycles or activities that may take place? And once they are approved, who's gonna police what activities goes on over there? And also, the police department, that's a burden on them to have to be able to come into that location in the event that something may occur. So I'm appealing to you as the zoning board for folks who are operating a business and may not have got the complete, or seems as though the approval has not been completed. They're operating their business, and that's not fair to the community.
Thank you. Anyone else in opposition? You going to speak, sir?
Yes, sir.
Do you swear the evidence you're about to present is the truth?
I affirm.
May I have your name and address?
Jimmy Sellers, 1031 Magnolia.
Okay.
I'm here because I know their father and all the motorcycle club was at my church. And they was trying to get some thing passed. I didn't know what was going on. We always had the meeting that I was at my church. It was my brother that got beat up. My baby brother, he had went to a birthday party, and somebody asked him to come over. They was having some kind of opening. So he went over there to have the opening. He says a friend there was there and had a glass with some liquor on it, and he hugged the friend, and the glass fell over. And when the glass fell over, he said, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'll get that up. And they escorted him out. And on the way out, the car was parked across the street, and somebody was getting ready to fight or something, and he turned his back to walk away because he didn't want to fight. Because all of this here, he had to go to the horse pillar. All this is scarred up. So my other brother had a meeting with the family, because we're not violent peoples, and that's my baby brother. I mean, I don't know if y'all something about the baby brother. So they got upset. They didn't even call me to the meeting because I'm the preacher. You know I can't go along with violence. So they says that we're gonna go to the court system and deal with this. So I'm saying, on the first night of the opening, and it wasn't supposed to be open and everything, I said, we don't need no more liquor and all this different stuff going on. And I'd have heard so many lies. And I'm saying, if they know us, why didn't they come by my house and tell me what's going on? Because I'm not a violent person. I ain't heard no more about what's going on. I told my brother to go down and file a report because we don't want no trouble. First night open, and the police even at the church says, y'all have 2 violations. You know, when you have 2 violations, it's over. So I'm saying, why are we here having this meeting tonight? Thank you.
I see an officer back there. Are you here on this issue?
Captain.
Kevin? I'll swear you in, sir. You swear the evidence you're about to present is the truth?
I do.
May I have your name and address?
Captain Tab Jensen, I'll use the Joliet Police Department as my address. I have no doubt about these gentlemen's characters. They do, I spoke with them after the meeting. They seem like good gentlemen. We did discuss the issue of the fight that happened on the night in question. The incident did happen on site. The club, to my understanding, after a meeting with one of the officers, when they have a party or any type of meeting, any person that's invited there has to be invited by a member. So the person that was involved in the fight was invited to the party. There was somebody injured, but due to conflicting stories, there was no arrest, but the fight did happen on grounds. Also, earlier that month, we did have a loud music call, approximately a little after 2 in the morning. And like the gentleman said, when we have 2 nuisance calls to a property, which is rental, this is deemed rental, it is technically deemed a nuisance, so technically we could send a nuisance letter and try to abate the issue. With the meeting at hand at Forest Park at the church, the police department did request postponement of the hearing here from last month until the neighbors all got together to determine if they would be supportive of the club being there. After being at that meeting, it's pretty much been determined by those neighbors that they did not want it. Forest Park at first was in support of it. To my understanding, they are no longer in support of it. So just because of that, I would say, because of the area, it is very quiet. It is in the Woodruff, Arthur, McKay area, all that. It is a very violent neighborhood. That section there is very quiet. We rarely get a call. With the motorcycle club, just the motorcycles alone coming and going may pose a nuisance to those neighbors calling and such. Also, they did state in a meeting with the officers and with Forest Park community, the community center members, that they will rent the property out. A member will have to be present during that, whether it's a wedding or a baby shower, what have you, but they do intend to rent the property out or have members rent it out. Saturday nights are their, I guess, so-called meeting nights. So could be possibly every Saturday night is their meeting night where all their members and friends can attend. I don't know when it would end. Again, with the limited parking of 8 spots, when we went there for the party, I was told by the officers that they were parked all through the neighborhood on the grass, in the streets. Woodruff, you're not able to park on, so you do have to go into the neighborhood to park. So I just wanted to clarify some of that, if you have any questions.
Thank you for your comments. Any questions?
How did it work out with the Outlaws over on Washington Street? What kind of reputation have they had compared to this one?
Well, to my, and I think Mr. Lucas could probably maybe explain a little bit more. I don't think that they have any affiliation with the Outlaws. I believe they had to give, I guess what's a courtesy call to them, letting them know that they were going to move into the area just so there'd probably be no incidents. They probably didn't want to bring any extra trouble to their social club. So I think it was more of a courtesy call to make sure that there'd be no further problems.
What I'm referring to, though, is didn't a lot of people expect to have a lot of trouble with the Outlaws when they moved on Washington Street?
They do, but it's kind of like, the Outlaws is a whole different thing. They are classified as a motorcycle gang. They could say they're a social club, whatever they want, but they're a criminal gang. And when you have a criminal element, you try not to attract it to your home. So such as if you're a drug dealer, you don't want to attract stuff to your house, just like the Outlaws. They don't want to attract it to their clubhouse, so they'll take it elsewhere.
So you're saying that there was very little trouble at the Outlaws?
I don't think there's very much trouble at their clubhouse, correct?
Okay. And if they put on a meeting, wouldn't the Joliet Police normally be notified? And if it's a party or a group that big, have to have a certain amount of security in the Joliet roads?
No.
If they put an event on? Can I speak on that?
They don't have to notify us, no.
We don't, like you said, we don't have to, but we did. We called Officer Robertson, and I believe we left him a message, but he didn't get it till that Monday. You know, because we had sat down with the neighborhood council beforehand, before they had the actual neighborhood meeting, and we got their information, their phone numbers and everything, trying to be proactive. So we did try to make them aware of what was going on. If I can I address the issues that the 2 opposing spoke on? We've had that bike bash every year. We have been doing things for the community ever since we started, because that's part of what we are about. As far as the incident with the fight, we did try to escort him out. We did see that he was intoxicated, and all that's in the police report that I picked up. We should have never crossed the street. We understand that. But one of my members lives next door to him, well, down the street. So he felt like he can get him to his car because he was belligerent. At that point, he turned aggressive and pushed my member, told him he was going to kill his family and burn his house down. All that's in the police report, too. If I can pull it out, you can see it. Okay? That's when the altercation happened. So we should have never crossed the street. He felt like he knew him. But when someone's intoxicated, a lot of times you don't know him. So that was our problem there. It did not start inside the clubhouse, and it did not happen on 809 Woodruff. It was across the street. Second of all, I understand that what some of the neighborhood is saying. We walked and did a petition as well from the area that we're in all the way to the top of the Forest Park and Fairmont area. And we did a community open house to invite people down so they can actually see what we're about, what's going on. As far as that right there, that's at Noel Park. We've already switched location. She has an old flyer, but she's never communicated with us. We've switched the location to in Lockport. They're fully aware of what's going on, and Mr. Jackson will tell you everything he's asked me for, I've sent him right away. There's never been any issues as far as what we're trying to do and who we are. So we're not trying to hide that, and this is what's going on. Yes, it's going to take us time to get people accustomed to coming to our neighborhood and understanding that they can't rev their pipes. As far as the guy who took up off the street, we don't know who that was. We were dealing with the police, but all my members have to be career men and women, and that's the standard. So I don't want anybody to think less of us. We want to work with the community. We want to open the building to the Forest Park Community Center. We plan on mentoring young men and women, and we want to open that facility up to them as well. So I hope that we can see that we can work through this. If not, I understand.
Did you have a comment, ma'am?
I have a couple questions. Do you serve alcohol?
No.
So where did the alcohol come from then that was at the party?
People, we had the grand opening. People were allowed to have drinks inside, but we didn't serve. We do have, but that's alcohol that we consume. So he came intoxicated. All that's in the police report.
How many members are in the organization?
Right now, we are down to 9, but our social club has 10. So the motorcycle club has 9, the social club has 10.
Okay. And I do have an issue with the parking. I do not think that there should be adequate off-street parking for any event that you would hold. Not sure if this location can accommodate that.
Okay. Well, when we had the function that night, everything is supposed to be organized. And for one, he was not invited. That's why we asked him to leave right away. For two, we had members walking the streets of Charlesworth and the other street that goes around, making sure that no one was blocking anybody's driveway, making sure that nobody was pulling up with loud music. There were no calls about that. And even after the altercation, we were out there to maybe 2, 3 in the morning, there was still no calls. So we're trying to make sure that we can do that. We've also been in touch with our realtor to see about the property to the left of our building to see if we're going to clear that off. We're trying to make the neighborhood look better. We're working with the housing authority to clean up our neighborhood, and not just the housing in Fairview and Des Plaines. So all those things are trying to be put in place so we can have adequate space to park these cars and host functions. But as far as our night being Saturday night, that was out of the consideration of the neighborhood because we know they're working class citizens and we work. So we don't want to be in there on a Tuesday night till 2, 3 in the morning. So we chose Saturday night. So after that, we had a meeting. We decided no more big functions. We're going to be in there because we have a lease. We've been in there since February. Our functions are off-site, and that's the situation that's going on now.
Any other questions from the board?
I do. Kendall, is there anything about hours of operation, or is that something that's not necessary?
Well, I think the way this was presented to staff was that this would be a social club meeting hall for the motorcycle club. My conversations with Mr. Lucas, I think there was 1 or 2 meetings a week, if that, and that it would be a situation where they would be ending those meetings early evening. As far as any events go, we never really had conversations about large events happening here at this location. As I related to Mr. Lucas, the parking situation, the closeness of the residential uses surrounding didn't really lend itself to the type of event that would create problems with noise and other types of things going on. Our understanding of what would be happening there was more of a meeting space, a social club for the membership, no programmed events where there would be the need for established meeting hours.
Well, let's not belabor this forever. If a motion should be made either to approve it or not to approve it, this board can set the hours that we want to, so that's not necessarily a problem. We can set whatever hours we want to. Who's that? Okay, you'll be the last person we're going to hear. Come on up here. I'll swear you in. Do you swear the evidence you're about to present is the truth, ma'am?
Yes.
May I have your name and address?
Brenda Robinson, 308 Lawton Avenue. I'm a lifelong resident of Joliet. My mom lives on Fairview, which is in close proximity to Woodruff Avenue. She's a lifelong resident, 80 years. We have business property, a large family in the area.
Okay.
Some of the things that have been mentioned, and if we're going back and forth with it, I guess I didn't think we were going to bring out all of the things that were in the police report or not, because you guys have copy of it. But the individual indicated, we've all said that they're great people, and that's great. They're noble efforts, that's great, and so are other people in the area. Betty Gavin has been mentioned, as well as other people that are living in the area are also noble individuals trying to do some of the same things that they're doing. So we're all on the same page. It's just that we're not bringing obstruction and
What is, are you
Go
in
ahead.
favor or opposed?
I'm opposed. And
Okay,
what I'm saying
state
is
your
I don't,
opposition, please.
I'm in opposition of the social club coming. Number one, they've already started off on a bad footing by having a party, an event.
Okay, that's already been stated.
It's already been stated, but it seems like we're moving closer towards, well, let's allow this and let's grant this, just from listening, and I'm just in the back listening. Like they said, we had the meeting. The neighborhood indicated that they're opposed to this in a large number. You indicated that you didn't want to hear that. It has to be, it can't be in writing. You won't accept that. But that fight that spilled over, that everybody is speaking to, started in the social club. A member, again, invited them.
We're aware of all of that. If you've got, I want you to present something new.
Safety is my last piece. We were headed to go up that hill when they had it blocked off. My mom is, we're her caregivers. We had to go around that area and go over to the other area on Draper to get into the community because they had it blocked off. You can't take away from the noise, and you're indicating that we've already stated this, but we can't state it enough. Loud noise, blocking off the streets, putting an extra burden on the police department that's already strained with the project area being there is not good for the area. Their efforts are noble, but what they're doing and the type of people they're going to have are only going to put an extra burden on the taxpayers, on the family members, and the residents of the area. Thank you.
Chair is closing discussion to the floor and asking the board for a discussion and a vote.
Well, I've owned property right next door to the Outlaws Motorcycle Club, for instance, and I have not had any problems with it so far. I've had property there for over 15 years since I moved in. It does make it quieter because, like the officer had said, they don't want to create any problems in the community. So I feel that everyone should have to have at least one chance, and we do have it in there that if it becomes a nuisance, that can be reversed. So I'd like to make a motion to have this approved.
We have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second to approve. Call the roll.
Mr. Ferguson?
Aye.
Mr. Graham?
No.
Mr. Riggs?
Aye.
Ms. Darley?
No.
Mr. Hennessy?
I know that initially, the neighborhood group up there was in favor, Forest Park group was in favor of this petition. And I do have some problems with the fact that the club's been operating probably illegally, without any permits. And I do have friends on both sides. I have friends who are members of the club and friends who live in the area. But I agree with the neighbors up there. I don't believe that is the location for a club like this. I agree that there's not adequate parking, and I'm pretty sure there's going to be more noise and some possible problems. I'm going to vote no. So the vote is 3 to 2. It goes to the to the city council with a recommendation, but what's the term I'm looking for? The motion failed,
Negative.
but there was a 3 to 2 vote.
Right, yeah, the motion to approve failed.
Yeah. But it still goes because there is, we do have a quorum, so it goes to the,
Right. I'm
it
sorry,
goes-
motion to denied failed.
right,
So it will go, unless there's another motion.
yeah, there is,
Motion to approve, failed.
Motion to approve failed.
I'm sorry, motion to approve failed. Unless there's another motion, this will go
59, yeah.
to city council.
It goes to the city council with a recommendation to deny.
Yes.
Okay, is there another motion to deny the petition?
I'll move to deny it.
Is there a second for that?
I'll second.
Call the roll on that petition. We're just covering all the bases here.
Ms. Darley?
Aye.
Mr. Ferguson?
No.
Mr. Graham?
Aye.
Mr. Riggs?
No.
Mr. Hennessy?
Aye. Motion goes to city council with for denial.
Correct.
Okay. All those in favor of approving the minutes of the last meeting signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those in favor of adjournment signify by saying aye.
Aye.